Hi guys, welcome to Just Be Creative, and I'm back from vacation, so welcome back. So I'm gonna be talking today about my disability and what it's like to live with my disability, and I'm gonna explain to you what it is and what it means. Well, I have a disability called spastic cerebral palsy, and I forgot to say welcome to Just Be Creative, by the way. I have a disability called spastic cerebral palsy. Now, what does that mean, spastic cerebral palsy? Well, spastic means spasticity, like jerky movements or like weird movements, like I have some like muscle spasms. That's basically what it means. Now I'm going to explain to you a bit about my diagnosis. How was it diagnosed? Well, my mom noticed that I wasn't hitting my milestones. Now, what are milestones? Sitting up by yourself, or walking a little bit, or just basically doing kid movements. Basically when you're a baby. So she took me to the doctor and she said, okay, let's do an MRI. Now, what's an MRI? An MRI is a scan of your brain where they scan your brain for parts of your area of your brain that don't function correctly. Basically, cerebral palsy is that. It's parts of your brain that don't function correctly. This usually happens when you're born or when something comes to your brain inside your skull. Like an injury to your brain. Now, can this be cured? No, it can't be cured. It's a lifelong condition. This doesn't mean bad things. In fact, it means quite the opposite. It means you have a new perspective on things. That's the way I see it anyway. So, what's it like living with disability? Well, it's very hard sometimes. Like, you have tricky movements when you're eating, or you can have muscle spasms all suddenly in your legs, and you're like, like I just did now. I had a muscle spasm in my leg. Now, how do these happen? How do you feel them? Well, to me, they feel like when the whole body is jumping up and down, like when you jump, you're like jumping up and down, and also you feel like dizzy, like ooh. That happens to me, Now, other stuff you can do. Yeah, there's physical therapy, which is a good thing. I have a physical therapist that comes by once a week, and he works with me on my legs. He does physical, he does massage, he does he does he's really cool stuff. Now, there are programs and services you can get. Yes, there are programs and services you can get for your disability. You can get a wheelchair, or you can get other services, and it's all paid for by your medical insurance. So depending on what medical insurance you have, depends on what they pay for, Now, me personally, I have Humana, so I have a good medical insurance. So because right now, I'm dealing with a lot with something personal I'm not gonna go into. So let's just say it's a big problem I'm dealing with. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Oh yeah, there are therapy you can do, physical therapy, occupational therapy. You can get from the government, which is completely free. You don't have to pay, and you don't have to worry about getting payments or something like that. Unless you want to do that, that's your choice. Me, I'm quite happy. I'm gonna have medical insurance because they pay for everything. I'm also part of a program, like a mid-waiver program, which they pay for my services. They pay for my physical therapy, and they pay for my occupational therapy. They also pay for my assistant. She helps me out with certain things, like for getting food or helping out with certain things, getting dressed, stuff like that. Now, it's a hard dealing with disability day by day. When your school is school is actually relatively normal. I went to special needs classes. Couldn't be able to. I have difficulty reading. My reading skills are at a kindergarten level, so I have very difficulty reading. So I use audio and visual programs to help me with learning how to read. And I don't want to admit that. I have trouble reading. Everybody's having trouble with something. You know what I mean? And it's nothing to be ashamed of. So anyway, what's the biggest struggle for you as a person with a disability? well, people ask me all the time, well, like, what's the biggest struggle for you? The biggest struggle for me is like trying to be seen as a person, you know? Like I try to be seen as like a person. Like whenever someone wants to talk to me, they always want to talk to my mom first. Because they think, oh, he doesn't know how to talk, or he's very shy, or he's very, you know, afraid of people. It's not that I'm not afraid of people. It's just that I don't want. It's just that I'm not afraid to talk to you. I'm just like don't know what to say because you know it's difficult for me to answer those kind of questions. Now that I don't know you the question, you just gotta explain to me slowly, in detail, what you're talking about. You know. Oh, I forgot to turn on the timer. There we go. So, in further detail, I'm gonna explain the situations where my mom took out for me to the doctor. You know, I couldn't understand certain things he was saying, so my mom had to slow it down. They were like, he needs to do this or he needs to do that, and my mom's explaining to me like, he is doing all that, he is doing what he has to do, but you know it's difficult. And sometimes doctors are hard-headed. I know a couple of doctors who are like that. Now my new doctor, he's awesome. I like him so much. He's a really cool guy. He's very understanding, very caring about his patients. You know. He's also very thorough too. He wants to make sure everything is all right. You know, because when we did a video call like a couple months ago, he said, I'm very concerned about your urine. And I asked him why. And he said that, well, we found some culture in your pee, we found some protein in your pee, and sometimes what, you're taking the medication that we gave you, and that can affect your urine. He said, you know. So now I gotta go see a urine specialist just to find, you know, some things. But I had to cancel my appointment because I had a personal appointment to deal with. I'm not going to go into detail. So, anyway, my doctor's really cool. He's a really cool guy. You know, he does a lot of good work. You know, and I really like my new clinic. It's really awesome. They're really nice. They don't talk down to me. They don't treat me like a child. They treat me like an adult. You know, I really like my new clinic. It's really awesome. You know. Again, if you have cerebral palsy, stand up for yourself. Talk about your disability. Don't be afraid to talk about it. And if you are, that's okay too. If you are afraid to talk about it, or if you're shy about it, you know, don't be afraid to. You know, I'm not afraid to talk about my disability. You know, what I go through every day. It can be a struggle. But it can also be a joy too. Because I've seen some incredible things. I've seen some amazing people. And I've met some amazing people over the years too. Let's just say your disability doesn't define you. It's yourself that defines you. You know what I mean? How you treat your disability is how you treat yourself. You can be miserable about it, or you can learn to accept it. You can learn to say, oh, it's just part of who I am, you know, this is just part of who I am as a person. Oh, and if you're music in the background, that's just my mom. This is my mom cleaning the house. Oh, and if you're my voice, it's just my nose is kind of clogged today, so you know that's why. So if you enjoyed this topic today, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye, guys. See you later. Bye. See you next time.